December 2016 will forever remain a historic landmark in the political history of our country. The Gambia decided the 22 years dictatorial reign of former President Yahya Jammeh was extraordinarily brought to an end through the ballot box, against his odds that he will never be defeated through the ballot. Since the advent of democratic dispensation in 2016, Gambians have enjoyed the freedom to express their opinions on issues of national concern, dream of every Gambian. Perhaps the prolonged oppression under Jammeh forced the citizens into an unbearable silence. The dawn of a democratic dispensation opens floodgates for undue or unguarded expression of opinions and subsequently developing into rampant hate speech and tribal bigotry on and offline. 2021 is a critical year for the country. At its tail end, it's the first general elections in a democratic environment. Interest among citizens, especially the young people, becomes high. This is very important for the ever-effective young people participation in politics the country ever hackered for. In this documentary, The Aspiring Voices, Inspiring Voices The Gambia by Peace Hub The Gambia, with support from United Nations Peacebuilding through UNFPA The Gambia, we spotlight the understandable fears of the people as well as voices which inspire hope and resilience among people amidst a charged political atmosphere in the lead-in to December 4th presidential election.
The Gambia has been famous in the region and globally for its warmth and serenity, thus the name the Smiling Coast of Africa. Despite the challenges of transition since 2017, Global Peace Index this year ranked the Gambia as the 5th most peaceful country in Africa, behind Mauritius, Ghana, Botswana and Sierra Leone. Historically, the tranquility of the small West African country positioned it well within the sub-region and the continent. Citizens of other countries far and near found refuge here when their nations had political unrest or are in the country for other reasons such as business, employment, education, just to name a few. This accomplishment earned the Gambia many admirers.
How the country has been peaceful has really positioned us well in terms of investment, in terms of how well we have progressed as a nation, but also in terms of how much we are able to achieve for ourselves. Because I mean, if we are not a peaceful country, then it's going to be very difficult. Our progress to be really something that other countries would want to admire or even be proud of.
The Gambia is also associated with Teranga, a profound exhibition of hospitality believed to be found only in the Senegambian region. The people are socially knitted and as such do everything together for generations. Every Gambian prides in this and would not trade it for anything else.
Ñu bari gis nañ ne Gambia dëkki teranga la, a country whereby everybody live together as one family. So Gambia loolu lañu xamé won té loolu bokk na ci one of the reason ku nekk oy ñu Smiling Coast.
Gambia kayro be jande de katu ñaajo koy kayro be jande kallam fanyenne ka gulim fanyenne wadi ko fam khayra balti banko so lefto kayro le continue hanni misal fi karre fayo nada kayro ñu continue because ni mama ke da banko ka ndeku keno la dun dimbati wala mun talibeti mbe kana fe fero jande ka dimbali balundi so ni maka banko ka marso ko no siete ite mira la wala e ke mira kudo la ban me ke mira kudo la me ke marso de siwo wadi yo ndal lefto tenko e dar ñu banko kan fo faw
At the very least, Gambians should consolidate gains of our forebears, respecting diversity and the strong pillars they've installed for peaceful coexistence. Building peaceful communities across the country should be a collective responsibility, and Gambians must not have a predilection for anything short of harmony.
Well, my opinion is we should try and maintain peace and tranquility in this country. It's known for that, but at the same time, not having peace is not an option. So therefore, we urge everyone to behave peacefully and act peacefully and maintain peace.
In a few days, Gambians will be casting their votes to select the president for the next 5 years. It is important to recognize that in a democracy, all citizens have the right and responsibility to participate in election processes of their communities. Candidates have the right to compete in a fair election in which each player has an equal chance to succeed.
Kairo nabe bankoka wo isa ke nole isa soto nole dol da malde be bankoka ula o dola o mandinka o sereru dol da maldo dola bankoka kate fayo akanala itam ban tol da mal kanyola kulliyo ke tol da mal kanyola futusi to ke tol da mal katani wala samoto to nabo wonya akiri maya le tare no akiri maya nyanta ngo sabatinde bankoka dimbal be mbulo kono dino lista karambuto sere karambuto banko na be diari kairo sabatiri mo kuisa keno.
It should be revered on all candidates, electorates, party loyalists, and key election stakeholders to ensure the security of everyone and institutions are guaranteed throughout the electoral process.
Bugana dal man ak suma morom ñun ñep ñu defandor ko mu nek am mission whereby ñun ñep dinañ taxaw pour jox pour defend this thing bi nga xamne ni ñep ko am in mind.
Elections are ferocious in many societies in the world, given the stakes. Despite the numerous efforts many civil society organizations and other actors, ours has manifested some worrying signs. However, evident of our social setup and cultural background, sacrificing to ensure a peaceful election is not unattainable. As people, united first and foremost by the Gambia, must all sacrifice for the long-term peace and security of the country. In this endeavor, given their important role as source of information for many, traditional and social will be very critical. We should all shun sharing hate speech and negative stereotypes online. Work hand in hand with fellow citizens in the security forces for the tranquility of our beloved country.
My message to them will be, first, the political party leaders, that politics comes and go, and there should not be disparity and disunity among political party leaders. They should make sure that there is free and fair elections, and whoever wins will do what is expected of the person. And then to the political party militants, if you are there to support your political party leader, support in peace and do not cause chaos. For the security forces, I plead to them that they try to control the chaos that political party militants might cause during the campaign period. And then to the media, I plead to them that any message that they have to send, because rumors are easily spread on the internet and on social media. So anything that they have to share should be something that won't cause chaos and conflict in the Gambia.
Safeguarding our peace is a national responsibility. Fulfill it, you are a patriot. Fail it, you know what that means.
Okay, man media. How can I make the people, everybody understand me? Diga. I should promote more of the positivity than that of the negativity. So my advice to everybody, Monica, we have to be responsible. Responsible of the things that we say, responsible of the actions that we take, understand, responsible of everything that we making. We ngamne ni muna inil dika bi jama. Te ñu ngamne tamit ñu ngi seek place bi. Ay cadeau lañ ko sigé te ci ay cadeau lañ ko bëgg amé. Suñ ko démé ba am ñoom it nañ respect né jamal réew mi wax li nga xamné la fa jamal réew mi ñun ñëpp suñu responsibility la. Tribe ñu tégué ko aside. Hajalo ñu tégué ko aside te ñu gis Gambia first in everything that we do.
Sacrificing for the realization of peaceful communities is incumbent upon all and sundry. Peace and security matter to everyone irrespective of your affiliation. Students and young people innovations of today and hopes of tomorrow should be guaranteed a secured and peaceful environment to learn and realize their fullest potentials.
Peace is life. There is no life without peace.
Let's see Gambia first. No matter what Gambia will remain. Let us not be so concerned about what our individual interests are. I know at the end of the day, all these politicians will want to win, but we should be more concerned about the Gambia. Let's advise our militants, our supporters to make sure that they are tolerant and accept one another. We are not opponents in the Gambia. We are just opponents or rivals in politics. But politics will end, but Gambia will remain forever.
Because at the end of the day, we have a generation of young people that need stability and peace.
Peace can't wait. To engender a peaceful Gambia, this requires strenuous effort from every one of us. Understandably, there are fears, uncertainties around post-electoral violence amongst women, family heads, students, and businessmen. However, we are equally presented with an opportunity once again as Gambians to demonstrate high standard of maturity, patriotism, which is reflective of true citizens of the smiling coast of Africa.
Most of the people, in fact, if not all, will agree with me that people with disability or the differently able people, the children and also the elderly people are always vulnerable in terms of disputes or any types of violence. Because we know most of the time these categories they suffer directly or indirectly, mentally and physically. Because what the able people can do, maybe the different able person might find it very difficult to do, and that is maybe the able people can maybe disguise themselves. May God forbid if there's any post-election violence or election violence itself. So the different able people, they always suffer. If you look at it properly, in most of the countries where this kind of incident happened, the differently able people and also the children and the elderly people suffered drastically. So therefore, we are not praying that, definitely. Nobody is praying that. For that to happen in our this beloved country, Gambia. But we should definitely see how best to make sure there will be no election violence in this country. Because if there is, may God forbid, the different able people will suffer.
My wish is that despite all those challenges and the strained relations or the struggles and challenges between parties, peace prevails. So the situation is very tense, although, but I think Gambians will think wisely.
Misinformation and peddling rumors cause panic and mayhem, which by themselves are conflict to human psychology. People should cease spreading fabrications, consult credible authorities for information, and promote social harmony.
Baring ko ndol men man ta school nyaaw nyaan to yal ne ko ay si na be men reject la ba reject le ta kuno la wot ani la fa fi no le sembete le ta fi no kelo to ka kal wo ku si falke ko me ma moy ma je ka kal mo ki jo faran ka to wo last week ko kata jane ba paral bi dal fo nga moy radio para nya ta la jane nya lo la jane nin do nya ta la fi ro la be fi ro ba la sa nim balu to dim ba la be balu so to la nyaadi o si fal mam bete ya ni tol bela politiko le tol ya wadoron mo mo ni be da me tara to kayro sabati na banko kan ni ale men tambindi ay ta si paleto banku di wala nyanto ni yake president ne banku di wala nyanto dila wallahi bata bu ko so banko kan ni man nyanto so fa bata so.
Peace is the foundation of all endeavors to advance a society. If it were a physical commodity, no one would be able to purchase it. Peace improves the psychological well-being of people, enhances freedom and development, and guarantees fundamental rights and dignities.
Peace is a combination of different things. It means the freedom to be able to do what I do, as well as the people around me. It means communities being able to interrelate and effectively mingle in a way that would not affect individual growth and development. So, I mean, I think for me as a Gambian or somebody who has lived all my life in the Gambia, it is important that individually we take responsibility to enhance the peace that is in this country.
Hate speech and use of uncouth language by political party supporters against their opponents, particularly online, is surging, and this is scary. This attitude is no one's interest. We can politic while we remain respectful and tolerant.
We participate in the election period, especially during the campaign phase, without any violence, to ensure that there is no hate speech, and to ensure that we support our candidate based on the agenda that they present and respect the other candidates' viewpoints as well. Once we are able to do that, then we will be able to navigate this period in a very peaceful manner. And come December 5th and beyond, it will be business as usual in the Gambia without any form of violence of that sort. The Gambia is ours.
Young people form over 60% of the Gambia's population, according to findings. Hence, their influence in any endeavor cannot go unnoticed. The same way, the ingenuity, energy, and enthusiasm of young people could be exploited to contribute to political and socio-economic development of their communities. When hoodwinked, they could plunge their country into turmoil of huge proportion.
The fear has always been the politicians, using, young people, seeing how vulnerable they are, and you're really using them, to really cause violence, during, after, or even, before the elections. I think this has been quite a concern, for all of us. And for that reason, we've always appealed, to the young people to realize that elections are part and parcel of a democratic process, and it should happen. But it should be no recourse for violence. People should go out and support their candidate, let them go out and associate. On the voting day, let them go out and vote. And whosoever wins, it is for all of us as young Gambians to rejoice behind the winner and support the individual party or the president's aspirations for the country for the next 5 years. But there should not be an avenue actually for violence. And we have always appealed to young people to realize that they have a stake in this country's development, and no politician should use them for any form of violence or another. Any destruction that we do today, the repercussion will certainly be on us as young people. And as I keep saying, whatever electoral violence we have, we will be perpetrators. Unfortunately, almost all the victims, or majority of the victims, will equally be us as young people. So the appeal will always be, let us not allow it to be used, by politicians as tools for violence.
The Gambia may not necessarily experience violent conflict or some sort, but Gambians need not to look too far for reference. Electoral violence and political unrest are very common in the continent. We should learn lessons from these and make sure we do not experience conflict.
I have had a lot of experience internationally, especially in conflict-related countries, starting from Somalia to also tensions or the political unrest in Cote d'Ivoire a couple of years ago. And I was also a victim of that, in the sense that I was caught up by some groups at a checkpoint for several hours. So I know what it can be. It brings down a country and it makes people suffer. I mean, you lose your life, people will lose their lives and livelihoods, and of course the development of the nation will be retarded.
Hello, mandua wala mandua fitinol. Hani sonko malafa. Mandua sonko fani. Ni wakai. Kambia dinga kafu nyoma. Mele fa fa da men ya fa die Cairo kono, majanjan Cairo ko. Ande men fole wala mu nyindi ko. Ni carte fayda. Ni me vinta mbe bulano. mbe ka kankilinti mbe mu Gambia dingileti ndeleta mu nyotin kendo ndeleta mu nyotin fure mbe mu Gambia dingileti.
2016 political impasse exposed the Gambia, a very difficult experience. Anxiety and panic filled the air and cast uncertainty over all. Businesses in general were at a standstill, and streets, particularly in Greater Banjul, were eerily deserted and silent. A considerable number headed in all directions for the nearest Senegalese border for refuge.
To begin with, I will make reference to the 2016 political impasse. Even though, like I said, there was no actual violence, but we can see the fear or the status quo by then actually halted the education. A lot of students actually fled the country, including myself. I had to stop my studies from MDA and then went into exile or seek refuge in Senegal. So if violence will happen, it will surely affect or halt my studies, because I am a final year student, and next year by this time I'll be preparing to go to the law school. So if there's violence, then my schooling will stop, which I don't actually want.
If there's anything important to us as people, which we need to treasure and inspire others to cherish for now and for future, it's peace. Post-electoral violence has the tendency of negatively impacting many, if not all, aspects of our lives, and some, including women, children and young people, may pay a heavier price consequently.
I am a student and then I am in my final year. I am looking forward to finishing December, and when you look, the elections are in December 4th. And when you reference to Guinea, for example, we've seen the political atmosphere that led for young people to come out in a violent way, and that stopped the education of other young people. Looking at Gambia is a population that is, you have young people that constitute 65% of the population. And these young people, at the end of the day, if there is, God forbid, violence, we will be the one affected. Now, where is our stake? That is a very good question that we need to reflect on.
As a university student who is a final year, who is hoping to graduate at the end of this semester, I am very vulnerable, and also I am a lady. Mostly we know in every society, the women are always the vulnerables and the children. So I call and urge on to all Gambians to still preserve the peace that we have as a nation. The differences are normal, but yet we remain as Gambians. Let's embrace our differences.
Nit ku nekk mën ngaa wax ne duma bokk ci politique, but politique bokk ci man, loolu is impossible. Ndaxte nit ku nekk ci dëkk nga dëkk, te dëkk boobu noonu dafa am ci sarta yu mu doxee, te sarta yooyu dafa am lu ko ëmba. Understand nga? Te all those things is politics. Leneen lu dul jàmm su happening, that means this thing is no more. Understand nga? Moo tax man see anything that I'm doing, dama make sure that to advocate for peace, to talk about peace, to talk to the people about how best we can maintain the peace and protect the peace that we have. Dama si dem ba jeex.
I am fearful. I'm fearful for the fact that if we do not try as much as possible as citizens of this country to ensure that peace prevails pre and post election, then we are going to put our health institutions at a huge risk, which is not going to be beneficial to us as citizens, but also is going to deter our progress as a country.
As a student, my concern for the political atmosphere is that there might be disunity and conflict post-December elections. And as a girl child, when conflict arises, I am part of the most vulnerable sect of society, and that makes me fearful.
We have been tested in 2016, thanks to not just the concerted effort put up by the tactful nature in which everyone played his or her party. An ideal scenario will be if we never tested again, even though this may be too much to call for. Should we, as a country, be challenged? Let us all live up to the desired expectation, put the Gambia and her interests first, and have our names, all printed in a country's Guinness Book of Great Sons and Daughters.
We face some conflict challenges in our communities
because we do not dialogue more.
When we engage more, especially in intergenerational dialogues,
many of our conflicts will be averted.